Oh, let me open it up over here.
Good morning.
Like, I got caught slipping. I was like, oh, I look a little
You got caught doing what?
okay, it's AAVE, caught slipping. I got caught not ready in the moment, and I realized right before you went live, I was like, I should probably put some moisturizer on my lips because they look quite crusted over. And like
Hey, come on, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. We can't even see each other, much less all the rest of you out there.
It looks like I, took that 45-minute nap I was telling you, Veronica.
All good. It's all good. You're here now. Looking good.
There's 2 people awake out there. Yay.
And I need to repost the time because I did this. We'll be live in 20 minutes on Jody's channel, and I never went back to tell people I screwed up the time. They'll figure it. Everybody will figure it out. I'm just gonna go.
They'll find it at the perfect time.
I'm gonna Mercury retrograde my ass right back to bed.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Jody, and Jen Lynn is having dental work. So I had to find 2 people to replace her because there is no replacing her.
I was going to say, there's no replacing her. So
no, we're going to do our own thing.
We're filling in with our joy and entertainment.
We can be free entertaining when we're asleep. I was very grateful you both have the day off. Is this like a holiday for work people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't start school. I actually don't start till the 10th. The school starts the 9th, Monday, but I go back the 10th. So.
And then today's the recognized holiday for New Year's Day.
Yeah. Justin's mom, you changed your name to Thankful Mom. Oh, that's so cool.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now we're getting really quiet, now that people are listening. Now what do we say? Good morning. Okay, we got all the time figured out. We're all here at the same time. It was pretty funny. Last night.
That was interesting. That was very Mercury retrograde. It's like, is it 11? Is it 10:30? What time is it?
Okay, I was listening to somebody, Colette Baron Reed, who makes a lot of the cards that I use. She was talking about Mercury retrograde as the time that she and her husband start new projects just to counteract, the whole belief system around Mercury. And she said it actually makes them more mindful.
I was just going to say that.
Present and pay attention in different ways. It was really good to hear that.
Yeah, I was literally going to say that it just makes you more mindful. When we talk about belief systems, when you're riding the energy of Mercury retrograde, if I've got the belief that everything's going to get effed up, and sometimes it does. The last one, 1,000 files went somewhere in the iCloud, and even the Apple people are like, what happened? But what I realized, I got to just be mindful and ride the waves. Ride the waves. Don't take it personally. I'm going to wait to buy my computer for 2 weeks, a new computer, but it's like, okay, let's this. And
listen, I started a new job. I got not even started a new job. I was presented 3 job offers, had to pick which job offer, started a new job, and something else major life-changing all during the last retrograde.
Yeah.
And there was no can I wait 2 weeks until
exactly.
It was you got to do the best that you can do with what you did. Yeah. And it's so funny, no matter how many times I read over the offer letters, no matter how many times I, sat and did whatever. Yeah. As soon as it was over, I was like, I really did misinterpret certain things. I really did. I was like, but it's okay. At the end of the day, I have to sit with the decisions that I made. But it was just and that was the ultimate test of time waits for no one, time stops for no one.
Yeah.
How much of your belief system do you use for good, or how much of your belief system do you use as an excuse because of fear, as an excuse, or as a way to blame and have no accountability?
Yes. Oh, preach it, girl. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's all the ways our intentions unfold is from our belief systems. And if we haven't taken a look at that, then we're playing the same cards from lifetimes ago, from 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
And we're not present to the fact that things change.
Exactly.
And the big belief. I had this happen yesterday in the New Year's Day ceremony I did. I was playing the gongs I can't play today because I can't get the sound right. But I was playing Earth and Sun and went to Chiron. And Chiron and I have been having a chat about the fact that he is not happy about being called the Wounded Healer, which is how he has been known in all of the years I've known about Chiron. And, you know, what I was playing was a prayer to Mother Earth. And when I got to him, he said, I am the transition planet. If any of you are going through transitions, use my power. And I'm like, oh, God, I like that so much more than you're the wounded healer. And, you know, and I'm not saying don't deal with our wounds. It's just a belief system that he doesn't like and isn't working for me. So the transition planet.
I like that.
And in the note structure, he's a D sharp E flat, which is right between creativity chakra and power. And it's like, that's better.
That is better. That's perfect.
But, you know, it's that whole belief system, you know, what everybody says it means.
Yeah.
Which
I'm grabbing something.
Yeah, I'm writing myself a sticky notes for something for later.
Oh my God, I have a notebook somewhere in here. But I'm trying not to knock my coffee over. Good morning, Rolande. Is it Rolande or Roland? I'm trying to pronounce it in the Mexican language way.
Exercise. I have a I don't know how okay. Never mind, keep going because I realized
I want to hear it. Bring it.
Conversation is deep, but I also want Jody to introduce the topic. So for today's chat, and then if it fits in, then I'll have the conversation.
The topic for today's chat is gather three of us, two of my best friends. You know, Jen Lynn's having dental work, and just have fun. It's have fun. Mm-hmm. I want to start the year off with have fun.
Yes.
Land. Okay, thank you. It's like, I keep butchering names.
I love that plan, so we'll stick with that plan.
Adrian, I'm curious.
No, I was.
You don't have a plan.
Veronica was talking about. See, this is why I told y'all I went back to bed for 40 minutes.
Okay, so I get this text from Adrian at about 10 till 9,
which is 10 till 10 Eastern.
And it's like, I'm getting my coffee, I'm ready, and I'm looking, I mean, you know, pajamas, you know, like, I'm not ready.
You're like, you go, girl, but we got an hour.
I'm getting in the shower. I was like, oh, crap. My clock wrong. It's 10 Central, 11 Eastern, knowing when I can watch you guys during work, it was never at 10 o'clock in the morning. It was the big reason I can never watch you and Jen Lynn on Mondays is because I had a reoccurring meeting every Monday at 11 o'clock freaking Eastern time. Yeah. It was a huge cross-functional sync with me and my team, the PR team, so I could never, and so like the only times I could watch you guys is when it was either canceled or like ended early. I know this, but yet my brain and sleepy in 2023 and like
That's great.
My inability to set a proper clock was like, oh crap. And so I literally, for those of us who are African Americans, I put my bonnet back on, took my shirt off, was like, try to sing in for 45 minutes from now.
I got the shower. Welcome.
And I felt so bad because I was like, oh my God, I don't want her. I was like, I didn't want you to think that I was like blowing you off. I was like, I promise I'm almost there. I'll be backstage and having my coffee. But I was like, well, at least I was ahead of the game. And guess what? I was still freaking late. Actually, it wasn't. I was on time. I was just sitting on stage watching Veronica until you came back and saw me. Okay.
We were making coffee while we were waiting for everything, you know?
We're good.
Really? We're good. We're good. We're all here. Happy New Year, everybody, in the stream. How was your transition into 2023?
Ooh, child.
We'll hear about that. I did a ceremony with all of the technology hooked up for the first time in probably 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was like, it worked. That's always a win. Yeah. And you can't see it because my big camera's not on it, but I actually have a big TV screen over here that all the people here could watch the people in Zoom land. That was really cool. We could see each other. Sharon, good morning. morning. Good morning. I'm going to read something very short.
Okay.
Okay, good. I still. Okay. Joseph Rael is one of my favorite native teachers, one of my shamanic teachers. And I met him in the early 90s and did some studies with him before he retired back to his land. And he was the one, this wasn't the book, he had one before this. He was the one who introduced to me the concept, which is now really normal, that you think something, you speak something, and you create it. Mm-hmm. He introduced that to me. He was the first one. And it wasn't coming from New Age. It was coming from his ancient lineage wisdom of using sound to create reality. Because in the way he was brought up, sounds like my name that has 4 letters, Jody, he had 4 different meanings from that name based on his way of pronouncing things. So I was just digging around for books for yesterday for my group, and this book is called Being and Vibration. And he's got a teaching in here that I must have bookmarked, 1 billion years ago because it's still there. And one of the things that I have seen, we're talking about, okay, Chiron means, wounded healer, the things we believe in. One of the things that I have learned and practiced in my shamanic practice for 35 years is that if I'm teaching something and people don't resonate with it, use it as a metaphor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. None of it has to be true. Just use it as a metaphor. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here looking at this book going, oh, is that where I got that from? Because it's right here. So he says, this is bonding with the land. When one grows up in the ancient teaching that everything is metaphor and it is a resonating energy of the Great Spirit, then all life is sacred. Mm-hmm. I'm going to read that again. When one grows up in the ancient teaching that everything is metaphor and is a resonating energy of the Great Spirit or God, then all life is sacred.
Beautiful.
That's part of my intention for this year, especially the things that I don't like, the people I'm upset with, is to just make it sacred, no matter what. So I was very appreciative to find this book, pull it out, and have a bookmark in it that I don't remember putting there. Everybody's sacred.
Everything's sacred.
Everything's sacred. And everything is a metaphor, and everything's a reflection, and everything's a mirror. And 2002 was a mirror I didn't enjoy looking in. So
there's a comedian, and it was perfect timing because it was like I woke up pretty early. Well, early-ish. Always wake up early on the weekends. It's funny. I naturally wake up earlier on the weekends than I do during the weekday. I think I'm allergic to work, so I was like, can't do it. And one of my favorite comedians, Shuler King, and it was like the first, mind you, he puts out like 20 videos a day, but it was the first video that I saw, and it was about 2022. And he was like, I won. I got in a fight with 2022. We battled, but I won. It was a boxing match. It was rough. I got beat up, but I won. He's like, no, I won on a technicality. it wasn't a TKO. It was a technicality, but I'm here. And I was thinking about it because he did have a really particularly rough 2022. He lost his father and just a lot that went on, a lot of close friends passed and just a lot of change and transition. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about it, and it was just the message I needed, because it was like, a win is a win. It may not always be the prettiest win. It may not be the win that we want to write about in the moment, but 10 years, 5 years, 5 minutes from now, that is actually the win that we will end up writing about, because it's the one that we had to fight for. It was one wasn't the prettiest. It was the one that we still showed up and we made it through. And I was thinking about it. I was like, and it was funny how he said it, but there was so much meaning, and it was so well crafted, the message. I was like, listen, survival. I survived.
Yes.
I maintained, I survived, and that's a win. It may not be the prettiest looking thing in the world.
Yeah.
You have some bags and some gray hair to show for it, but a win's a win. Shut up, Adrian, take it.
Yeah.
Technical knockout. It was a technical. I wanted a technicality. Some referees had to come in and watch the tape to declare the winner, but I still won. And by winning is I'm alive, I'm breathing, and I was able to come into the new year. And we want to. That's the focus. Right. And that's brilliant. I love that.
It is. It's so cool, just because like my, very dear friend of mine passed away in August, Rebecca Wynn. And I was contemplating her the other day that, it's like, we're all on our soul's journey and she didn't make it, but I did. And for me, a deep shift in gratitude. I had a very palpable shift, like this space that opened up literally just the other day. And I did an Instagram on it. And it was just like, without all the experiences that I had, I wouldn't be who I am right here in this moment. And I had to look at, even like I was on and off again sick for the last 6 weeks, and I had been sick in 5 years. And so I had like fears that arose, false beliefs that were like, take a look at this because it's not real. And then I started doing my practice deeper. I'm like, just prove that these universal principles work, Veronica, and just bear witness to what you're experiencing. And I just remember looking around here going, but I'm so grateful because I'm safe. I think about the people in Ukraine or the women in Iran or Afghanistan. I'm like, or even here in the United States, I'm like, and I'm safe and I'm here to serve. So let me just be in gratitude. And then, like you said, Adrian, we don't know until we've reached a certain point or able to go back to say, oh man, that was shitty, but wow, but look,
win's a win.
Because here I am now to see that,
A win is a win. Take it.
Win is a win,
Yeah, I unpacked all of my stuff, went in storage by the end of April of last year.
Yeah, I remember that.
November. And as I was unpacking my bookshelf, in the same box was Rebecca's book and Stephanie's dad's poetry book that he sent me, and they both crossed last year. And it was just like, but I have something from both of them, that's poignantly important. Yeah, it was really interesting, but it was just like, God, they were both alive when I packed everything up and put it in storage.
Yes, yeah.
So
and the reminder that we're still here for a reason, and we still serve in whatever our soul's purpose is, and then we get to come together like today and dance together and enjoy and just bearing witness to our own personal suffering, but bearing witness to suffering that other people, and like because I'm inherently kind. I got that from my mother and my grandmother, and what I notice is that it's just like just keep shining your light, V. Just and just be grateful for what you do have. And then I also have the skill sets and the consciousness to continue to deepen and shift and create the life I do sincerely desire and deserve. So for me, I'm keeping it very simple this year. It's all just about, creating my life, whether it's through creativity, living just fully embodied. I'm a mindfulness teacher, so I'm fully present and loving deeply, because it's like these last 3 years were such it feels like a roto-rooter of so much, even past life stuff for me, that I literally emerged in a clarity. And still there's things, I still have to fundraise. I still have to do this for the nonprofit. I still have to figure out retirement. But in this moment, I got a cup of coffee. I've got Adrian and these beautiful people on YouTube, and life is good in this moment.
Ooh, I'm carrying over healthy baggage from that I gathered in a conclusion I came to around February, March, maybe March of last year. In June, actually. I don't know. I had 2 life-altering surgeries back 10 weeks apart. A lot of shit went down last year. Again, one on a technicality. I'm here. I'm taking a win's a win, ladies and gentlemen. A win's a win. And I had this realization. I said, shit, I'm 40. If I live to be 80, I'm halfway done. I got exactly 40 years left, and the first 40 went by fast. The first 40 were like, what in the world? Yeah. So I said, if it's not about my wealth, my health, or my happiness, no, it's not going to be there. And that sounds really trite and very like, oh, well, that seems impatient. It seems whatever. And it's like, no, really though. Like, it took me 40 years to have that realization. If it's not aligning to those three, I'm a very thoughts-based person. I have to embrace it, Adrian. You're a business person. Even though you want to be a creative, you have to embrace that you're still a business person at the end of the day. And I was like, my life is about what are your business objectives and how did everything tie to your overall business strategy? And my business strategy is like, Heffa, if it's not about your health, your wealth, or your happiness, it doesn't make dollars and it doesn't make sense. Cut it. And it seems, and I was having this conversation with one of my sisters at Christmas. We were talking about some work stuff. And I was like, if this isn't add up, I'm out. And she's like, oh, you're really impatient and blah, blah, blah. I need you to stay at least a year. And I said, honey, life is short. It's short. I told her, it's like, Londa, you know our family history. I'm either going to live to be 80 or 100, or I'm going to die before I'm 60 because of cancer. Either way, time is short. I got to if it's not adding up, if it's not making dollars, it's not making sense, then I need to take a step back, do a gap analysis, and go, how is this misaligning to the business objective, which is health, wealth, and happiness?
I agree.
And that even means if I'm not being kind to someone, that means I'm not being happy. That's not part of my health, wealth, or happiness. If I am tolerating disrespect, that is not part of the health, wealth, or happiness. If I am continuing to show up and participate in traditions that are costing me time, money, or happiness, then I need to take a step back and do a gap analysis, my dude. And that's what I carried into this year. So it was like, even looking at some of the New Year's traditions that have, especially as an African American, as a Black woman who had family from the South, that are very rooted in the practices of our traditions and our lives. And I had to go, how much of this is me carrying some of the trauma, and how much of this is like what I want to manifest moving forward? Okay, if it's not about that health, wealth, or happiness, then let's do gap analysis and take a step back. What are we trying to do? Protect. And I did a reading yesterday. One of the cards was protection. And it is like, protect yourself at all costs by any means necessary, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's spiritual, protect yourself. And I was like, and that was personal. I was like, I was trying to do a reading for the collective, but damn if this is right now. I said, no, really, that protection. And that is one of the strategies that is going to help me maintain or achieve that goal of health, wealth, happiness.
Well, it's boundaries. It's the boundary issue that we all have. Yeah, I started looking at what's different about 2023 based on what didn't work in my metaphor of last year, and for the first time, there's going to be a split between what I do for Mother Earth and what I do for clients, because there's different languaging, communication, and issues I look at with Mother Earth that I find most humans don't want to deal with. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, then make a split and don't talk about them with people. And that's really in the protection department, that was really an interesting boundary to set. And I have a lot of my conversations with guides when I'm on the toilet because there's water involved, And I have one of my favorite altars in the bathroom with crystals and all my meditation cushions. I'm weird. And I'm just in there having this conversation, with all my guides about this. And Mother Earth just sort of pipes in and said, you'll be more focused and get the job you came here to do done easier. Yeah. If you're not trying to merge the two. And that came in yesterday. And it was just like, easier is better for me right now. Because I don't have 40 more years. And it's really interesting moving into this house because there's an awareness in my life that at the age I am, it's like, this could be my last place to live. And that's not upsetting. It's just like, make it good. Make it safe. Make it powerful being here in this sacred space.
Make it good. Make it last. Make it count. So, even if you went on a technicality, 2023 going to 2024, a win's a win.
A win's a win. Yeah, we're here. You know?
I like that. So, Veronica, what profound things have you figured out between the first or the 31st and the first?
You know, I need to go back because I do my morning pages every morning, and I didn't do a whole list. You know, I used to do the intention list. I'm like, nah, just pick 3 words. But what I really saw was the evolution of my own consciousness by actually bearing witness to my human mental struggles. Because it was a the last 3 years were so many losses. And then when Rebecca died, I had seen her in May at her house. Then we were on a Zoom, and then she called me on my birthday or texted me. And I'm like, I'll call you. And then I'm like, oh, I'll see her next week. Because the last time I saw her, I thought she was going to make it. And then she literally passed the week I was going to go see her. And it just hit me so hard about you can't wait for anything, not even a phone call, not even a text. And I just started going through like, it's been so isolating these last 3 years because of the pandemic, because of, my own healing, a lot of loss, a lot of family loss, friend loss. But what I realized, it grew me deeper than I knew until last week. And all of it was actually bringing me fully into the moment. It's like, but Veronica, you are living your life purpose. You are serving. And then the conversation Jody and I had where Jody's like, you've got to get more of your creativity out because that part of you is not being expressed. That's what arose for me, is that I'm in such service, gratefully so. But I was in such deep grief, which was perfect because there was so much healing on a deep level that now something has shifted and a space has opened. I'm like, bring it on 2023. I'm ready. And what I got throughout this whole year is like, no matter what happened, nothing could steal my joy.
That's good.
Nothing. Even if it was the laughter of the kids at school. When I was sick and I went to school after Thanksgiving thinking I had enough strength, I didn't. And then when I finally got back to school, the second grade class, one of my second grade classes saw me and they go, be strong, Miss Veronica, strong, And it's just like, oh, okay, they gave me that message of like, okay, I have people that love and support me, and I love and support me. And 2023 is like, what is seeking for greater expression?
Right.
What I don't know what retirement looks like, but I do know that right now I got everything that I need and possibilities are endless, and let me stay focused and clear. Because the grief has literally just finally, the grief will always walk with you, but something just went with the wind. So, it was a deepening and a, letting go. Like Adrian, you're talking about, does it align with this? Jody's talking about boundaries. Yeah, I let go of a lot of people that weren't aligning with, true friendships and just a spaciousness. So I just feel like there's these potentiality and possibility if I stay clear. But the last year brought some old beliefs and patterns, even through my writings, like, okay, you're not serving me, but what do I need to know from that? What do I need to know? So I just feel like, I feel stronger, especially after coming out of on again, off again 6 weeks, which I hadn't done. And I hadn't been sick in 5 years. And it just really brought me back to, I have this moment. I have this day. And the other day, because it gets so dark, and I was ready to go to bed at 5:30. I was like, oh my God. And then I looked at the clock. I usually go to bed at 9 because of school. And I looked at the clock, it was 7. I'm like, oh my God, I have 2 hours. And I thought, how many friends of mine that passed away, what would they have done if they knew they just had those 2 hours?
Sure.
So I just, a great gratitude open up. Like Adrian said, like, we don't know how long we're going to be here. So let me just be present every moment, honor my own stuff, and then just, do my best to bring a little more love and joy into the world, because I really feel like that's what's necessary.
Beautiful.
That's it. I'm just trying to get back into shape. I'm out of shape. More walk. I haven't walked in 2 months. That's so unusual for me. So it's like getting back into nature and just, being present and listening and doing my best to see with the lens that everybody's on their journey. But I don't necessarily have to participate in that journey. Like when Jody talks about boundaries, that's clear. I bless you over there. But a little gratitude. And with aging parents, it's like I have moment by moment with everybody, moment by moment.
I've been working with clients that have just moved to this area, and it reminded me of a lesson I learned when I moved to Idlewild, California. which is a granite mountain, which is a quartz crystal. And I live in Hot Springs, and I actually moved out of the village into Hot Springs, closer to Mount Ida. So I'm like right in between all the mining veins, you know, and the lake is over there. And a man that I knew in Idlewild taught me one day, I had been there for about a year, and he said, you know, people move here thinking the beauty of nature and the mountain is going to solve all their problems. And because of the quartz, it just brings whatever is true right up in the middle of their face. And I have seen that for almost everybody I know that has moved here. You know, it's like, oh, I didn't know that. And, you know, it's just living with quartz is just this beautiful invitation to face ourselves, I guess. And I've been up here, February will be 2 years, with 3 months time out back in Texas, you know, this past year.
Yeah, we don't count that.
Well, I was considering moving back. That lasted about a week.
Well, you still come back to visit so we can have Vietnamese food at that restaurant.
Really a week? Because when we were talking, it was like that lasted all of like maybe 10 hours.
Yeah.
So I went doing all the, let's go on Zillow and see all the rent. You know, I mean, everywhere I worked, I'm looking at, could I live here? And, you know, I love the people I have as friends in Texas. And it was like, you know, I got back up here to house sit and walked out in the backyard of this friend's house and just looked up at the trees. And I'm standing there in the backyard like, wow, you guys are tall. You guys are taller than Texas trees. And I mean, they're just cracking up. And they're like, good of you to finally notice. Not like I didn't live with them for a year. And it was, you know, because the tree people call me back here as much as anything else in the water, you know, and the house I live in now has a creek in the backyard, and it's not the lake, and it goes into the lake. So every time I bless the water moving by, I know that's going into the lake for more of a blessing.
Yes.
I like living around water.
Yes. Yeah.
So this year, you know, it's like, okay, I don't like winter. We have tornado day again today. I don't like that, but you know, because you know the Arkansas weather guys have a plan. I'm like, yep, I'll be riding my storm dog in the middle of the living room. You know, exactly. Where else might we go? So, I'm glad this is this morning. They all start later.
So I have a thing I want to read from Donna Collins. Can I read it? So Donna Collins, if you go on her Facebook page, that woman is magical. She's been describing some magical stories that she had with her husband, Bruce, when they were in Israel. But anyhow, the author is unknown, but this is about New Year's, and I just love the simplicity of it. And it says, you know, she's talking about happy 2023. I'm an unspoiled page in your book of time. I'm your next chance at the art of living. I'm your opportunity to practice what you've learned during the last 12 months about life. All that you sought the last year and failed to find is hidden in me. I'm waiting for you to search it out again with more determination. In me lies the potential of all that you dreamed, but didn't dare to do. All you hoped, but did not perform. All that you prayed for, but did not yet experience. These dreams slumber lightly, waiting to be awakened in 2023 by the touch of an enduring purpose. I am the new year.
That's beautiful.
I thought it was like a sweet invitation.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that is cool.
Sweet invitation. It's all here.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that it's calling us for the year.
It's a sweet invitation. There's also some patience in that too.
A lot of
here.
The P word. It always comes up in my readings. You're not patient. I'm like, well, tell me something I don't know.
Patience of like, you know, I'm here, and you'll find all of these things in your time, in your space.
Yeah.
Just don't rush it. Just know that I'm here when you're ready.
Yes. And that's the problem. That's like the trees that are alive and in slumber right now. And I'm not waiting for the promise of spring, but I'm present to what is there because they're alive. But it's a cycle, it's a process. And if we can remember that, everything unfolds for our highest good. I just have to know that. And every time, like I said, when we look back, you're like, oh, yes, that zigzag actually was perfect, even though some aspects of it didn't feel perfect, but it is. There's a process. It's that patience, and that's one of my key practices. Is just be present. Because if I'm present, I don't have to be patient because I'm here.
Yes.
I'm now with what is.
Yes.
Or I'll call Jody,
which is just fine. I noticed in my voice analysis scans for the last 2 weeks before the turn of the year is the I don't know if it's the Bach flower essence or the herb, but impatience as a remedy has shown up in almost everybody's scan.
Including mine.
Here.
Including mine, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. And rescue remedy's been showing up a lot too. I'm like, oh, that's a good one. How I sobered up.
And you know what's true is that, if you look back at last year, I mean, like if I look back at even like what I've done in the last almost 10 years with my nonprofit, I didn't plan any of that. But I was present, and I can look back at things that arrived that were actually quite perfect in the moment that I didn't expect. And so I'm trusting that the highest vision. So we do what's called a life visioning process. And you get into this deep state of meditation, this field of unconditional love. And I might create a YouTube video on that. And your first question, once you're in that meditative state, is like, what is the highest vision for my life? And you'll get little, bits here and there. But the next question is, what do I need to become? What do I need to release? What do I need to embrace? And what else is necessary? And the visioning process is always continuous because it doesn't all download at once. And so if I can remember that I've always been guided, when I do listen to that little whisper, it always takes me in the direction of what unfolded that feels like in alignment. And then to trust that if I don't listen, to not have regret, but to look at it as like, okay, what wisdom was there? Where did I not trust myself? Where did I give my power to somebody else? Where did I back off to make somebody more comfortable, but it wasn't comfortable for me? And it's this continuous process of like joyful anticipation is a phrase that I use for the good, and then present to the human experience where there is suffering. But how can I meet it with love and kindness? How can I meet, like with my, parents who are elderly, be present to their needs with spaciousness and unconditional compassion? And if I can look back now through my writings, I can see that evolution and all that I didn't expect and all that did demonstrate, and just allow myself to be present to this experience, but present, like awake, aware, not living on the default of false beliefs or old habits, but it's like, I'm actually at choice right now. I'm actually right now in this moment at choice. Mm-hmm. And a lot of joy and laughter with friends when you need that extra little boost of vitamin C consciousness.
It's almost time to drive back down to Dallas so we can have the Vietnamese food.
Yeah, and I need to go to Arkansas. It is on my plan, not when there's tornadoes.
I don't know, man. They have tornadoes around here all year long. Not when there's ice.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. I forgot to ask a few relevant questions when I moved into this house. Like, does that low water crossing I have to get over to get to this house ever flood? It's like, and the answer is yes.
Oh, wow.
I have food for a week or two, and I'm like, I should have just asked this shit.
Jody.
Oops.
That's a good point, because I was thinking, when I was listening to Veronica, I was thinking about all of the things that I got, almost everything I asked for last year, good and bad. Yeah. And when I got it, I sat there with it and I go, now what? And being really intentional about, we're humans. We love to set our intention. We want to set our, what do we want? What are the things we want to manifest? But then we really ask, what does it look like once I have it? And that's one of the, when I work with clients, that's one of the things we do a journey. when I envision what I want, what does that actually look like? And what do I do with that once I have it? Because you bear the responsibility of doing, receiving, acting, or inaction once it's there, once it's been presented to you. And I was just giggling because Jody's like, you know, she manifested this house in this space and she worked so hard to get it. And she got it. And she's like, shoot, I probably should have asked about this little thing and that little thing. And it's just cute because you're like, I rolled with it. That's fine. But it was just like those, and it was just making me think of like all the things that we want once we have them.
What do we do?
What do we do with that? And it's something that always, I promise I'm landing the plane. I've got the reverse thruster. I'm about to hit the runway and turn reverse thrusters on. Something that Johnny and I always say when we do, especially when we draw horoscopes, is once you have it, ask what does it mean once you get it, and what do I do with it? People want, I want this lump sum of money. What you really want is financial literacy. Right. The lump sum of money ain't gonna change anything if you still don't know how to spend it. I wanted certain things with health and happiness, and once I got it, I was like, oh, I don't think I knew what that really meant when I was trying to manifest that. So there's just things that, you know, it's all about that gratitude. Take a step back, that business alignment plan that I was talking about. And once I have it, what does that really mean? And then being able, something Veronica's saying, to pivot and just go with it once we get it. Go with it. Jody demonstrated that. I wanted the house. I got it. Oh, I should have asked about this, this, and this, but that's okay. Pivot and go with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I always do a word for New Year, and it's a ceremony I was taught by a friend from Canada, and I've been leading them for 25 years now. And yesterday I got 2 words. So of course I'm in the journey, you know, doing a guided journey and arguing with my guides about this is wrong. I'm supposed to have 1 word. He gave me 2 words. I'm changing it. And they're just like, you know? And the words that I got were take action. And I went into yesterday thinking it would be proactive. And when I heard take action, I tried to change it to action. And by the time it was all said and done and I had settled on what I heard and received, it's an answer to what you're talking about, Adrian. It's like, because when I unpacked everything, I did a workshop this summer at Open Heart Sanctuary in Granbury. Summer's beautiful place. And we wrote down intentions. And I had 4 or 5 stream of consciousness intentions. And I found that piece of paper here and looked at it and went, oh my God, every one of those has come true except the last one. And that's the one I'm in resistance about, but all the rest had come true. And in the take action department, it's not, I should have asked more questions. It's okay, now that I've manifested the things I say I want, what is it for me to stay in integrity with these things? What changes does that entail? Because I've seen some in some of the intentions. The house was one of them. And, you know, I come from a history of 20-ish years in Texas and Arkansas, and every house I've been in has been moldy and made me sicker than I was in the next, you know, the one before. This is the first house I've been in that's not moldy.
Good.
And in the take action department, I am having to rewire the brain to learn to be healthy and happy about it, because the house is not the enemy, it's a sacred space. And it's a really interesting experience. But I was listening to what was going on in my workshop thing yesterday, and take action for me means in any of the places I'm going to stop and judge, I get to take the action of acceptance and kindness and get beyond that. I mean, I already can see it, and setting boundaries and clarity. I mean, it's really interesting how 2 little words, you know, that came through yesterday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon have already shifted my life. But, you know, it's, how do I receive what I said I wanted?
Yes. Yes. And what is underneath that? You know, what quality of the divine, the universe am I seeking to experience with that? You know, abundance allows us the ability to go do this and that. But if you can see abundance just in the moment, which is what nature is that perfect example. So I always bring it to that deeper. It's like, well, what is revealing in this moment? Greater love, greater peace, greater wisdom, greater joy. Like for a home is my sanctuary. It's sacred. Quiet, is necessary for my well-being. And then I just look at it, it's like, it's for me, I'm not trying to fill my life. I like materialistic things, but it's like, how's this serving my soul's purpose is what I always ask. And I like to keep my life very simple. You know, I don't have any debt. I'm about to pay off my car. I want to live simple and free and flexibility and keep it where, just gratitude for what is. And that what you said, Jody, about taking action sometimes is saying no to that, but yes to this. This is deeper. This serves me. No, thank you. And I just bring it back to the simplicity of I've got this moment and what is seeking in this moment? What is it about a new car? Well, the new car gives me freedom. It gives me safety. All right, good. So I'm not trying to be something or somebody with this car, but I'm going to enjoy it. What does a relationship bring? Well, it brings love and joy and playfulness. Okay, great. Bring the one that's in alignment with that. And for me, it's like that moment to moment, like you can feel it energetically. Like I can tell, because people are like, if it's not, I can tell when it's not resonating, where there's that dissonance, which isn't judgment, but it's just like, that's not in resonance with what my purpose is in this moment or my life. And just, release and let go. And then just that full gratitude, I've got today. I've got this moment. Right now I'm present in this moment. And just the joy of that expression of your light, your love in the world. I tend to be a little, I'm a little mystical gal, the gal that chases the butterflies and fireflies still with my nieces and nephews. But I just feel like if we could just bring it to the simplicity, because the world makes it so complicated. You need this, you need that. I'm like, no, I really don't. I don't, I'm fine with this. And that you make choices that are in alignment for you, whatever serves you, whatever feels you like wealth, success, happiness. Is this bringing me joy? No, then not in resonance. I bring it all to frequency. Does this resonate? No. Then no, thank you. I'm getting too old for all the stuff I did in my 20s, chasing this and chasing that. I'm like, yeah, no, yeah. In bed by 9. All my books and crystals, like Jody's, like crystals everywhere. It's like my little.
Yeah,
my niece gave me crystals for Christmas. All right, so my other niece had all these little expensive things, which is fine because she loves that. But Isabella gave me crystals. I'm like, you know me, you love me.
My guest room is one of the major crystal rooms, and it's like, yeah, that's going to be a little intense for whoever stays in there.
I can sleep in that room. Just the joy of being together, just like this together, just fills my heart with so much love, just to connect.
I would like to do a little bit of music.
Yes. To add the sounds part of sacred sounds.
The sound part.
Yeah.
And what I did yesterday in my private thing, I'm going to do a piece of today. In the voice analysis work that I'm doing, I am working with Mother Earth as a client. I have a folder. I have her as a client, and there are all kinds of interesting frequencies I can run on her behalf to help what she wants. And in the first few times I did that, I was using my voice as the stand-in and running them through me. And frankly, the detox was so intense I had to stop doing that because it was making me really sick. So I made her the client. And yesterday, I asked her if she wanted a scan and for me to play some music on her behalf, and she said yes. So I went outside, and for the voice part, I just put, the phone up near the rapids in the creek with all the birds having their thing, and recorded 15 seconds of that, because it's usually vowels and names and intentions. And I took a picture of what was going on in the sky. And then I typed in the affirmation, the intention that she asked me to type in, and ran the scan. looked at in the metaphor department, it's like, okay, is that showing up as Mother Earth's chakras being out of whack or all the humans? And, because, shamanic practitioner, I can hear everything. And she's like, no, that's me. She was a little out of whack. And, and I compiled the libraries and the background frequencies into a sound file, which is how this stuff works, for those of you that are using it. And I usually play her stuff with the Mother Earth gong, which is across the room. I can't do that on this platform. StreamYard won't work. So I am sitting here. Let me go change the camera. I'll show you where I'm sitting. So I am sitting here with the water gong. I've got Tiger behind me, and this is the Stargate gong next to him. And in the olden days, the water gong used to play E. She is now playing F for the heart. Tiger was a pure D. He is now playing F. And the big Stargate was playing all the notes. And right now she's playing D and he's playing the notes. They've all changed since I moved in. So I am going to run about, with the time left, probably about 3 minutes of the sound file and play bowls and gongs all in the head heart creation mode on behalf of Mother Earth and all of her relations. And that would include, so let me change the sound and go to work. I guess it means I have to get my coffee cup out of the bowl, huh? Oops.
That is some sacred coffee.
The coffee's tasting really good today. So let's do heart math first. A way to start the year. Hand on heart. And we are going to follow breath down into the heart. And follow the F note right there too. Just breathe deeply, relax everything, anchor very solidly in your heart center. Just expand the lungs. As you breathe out any of the weird crud so many of us have been exposed to or had in the health department, just release that back to Mother Earth to transmute. And breathe in a frequency of gratitude into your heart center. And then with the next few breaths, take all of this beautiful frequency of breath, gratitude, and breathe it up into your head. Just keep breathing. And eventually, everything comes into harmony in your body, emotions, mind, chakras, aura, field, and you can breathe this harmony, this coherence around your body, out and around you. And as I turn on Mother Earth's frequency, we can breathe it out and offer it into the field for Mother Earth and all her relations. I'll continue playing. Uh-oh, got to turn us off. I can hear us talking. So gently bring yourself back into your space. Thank you for holding the intention for Mama Earth as we go into this year.
Go into this year. Yeah. Go into this year. That's the command. Go into this year.
Be here now.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. That was fun.
I need your chimes though, like from my alarm clock.
I'd never wake up. I would just go back.
You know, I probably wouldn't either, but I could record those and that's alarm clock chimes. This little doohickey.
I love to say
Sharon gifted me before she left the other day. This is a Zen tube. Yeah, Zen tube, and it's metal. And I heard her playing it and didn't know what she was playing. And it sounded, you know how you can take Tibetan bowls and go on the edge and go wah, 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 and they do that. It was like, ooh, they made one of those.
Nice.
That's fun.
So, what are you guys taking into 2023 that you want to share? Just something to share with everybody.
Ooh, does that have to be a word, a mantra?
Whatever you want.
Go ahead, Veronica.
Well, I have a service on January 22nd with Unity of San Jose. I'm like, what's the theme? And I saw this thing on Facebook, one of the monks from Thich Nhat Hanh's tradition, and it said, love is a paintbrush. And so my intention is to paint as much love in this world with my presence. So when Jody tunes us up with those sound frequencies, we are that then in the world. So I want to bring love as my resonance and joy to the best of my ability. So I'm going to paint the world in love as much as possible.
Thank you.
Unless you piss me off. I'm just kidding.
Like, ooh.
Then I really got to drop into love, you know? But for me, it's about love and creativity this year and just honoring moment to moment. Really is. Keeping it simple. And then for people who don't do affirmations, Louise Hay cards will help you with that too. Just, you know, love, beauty, and creativity.
What about you, Adrian?
I do and I don't. I think it's similar to what I said earlier. It's that alignment of that business-minded focus of if it's not about those 3 tenets, it's going to have a good gap analysis because it's about accepting of who I truly am and not the fallacy I've told myself about myself to feel comfortable because of the wanting to shirk and buck so hard against the norm and against the system. And how do I embrace those things and just embrace them and embrace them to help me align with those 3 tenets. Because by doing that, and I always tell everybody, and I used to end every video with this, I still do at times, you got to take care of yourself first and foremost. Then you can take care of your friends and family. So we can collectively take care of Mama Earth and each other. And I just got to make sure that I am aligned to those 3 tenets so I can make sure that I can help take care of my friends and family.
Yes.
So we've got audience participation here. Joy, forgiveness. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Mine is to turn dissonance into harmony. Whether it's in me, in my life, in the world. Just change dissonance to harmony. Everything I do. Makes it simple.
Beautiful. Let me ask you, Jody, do you have, I need to go, I haven't been on your playlist. Do you have just a brief heart coherence video for people that they can start their day with? Have you done that yet?
I've got a couple of them in there and it would look like head-heart harmony, you know.
Okay, because that'd be a great way for just to start the day. It's just in that coherence and resonance.
I've done that a couple of times.
Good.
I mean, you know, from a number of months back, but they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of calling it heart math, I call it head-heart harmony.
And we have to remember collectively, a huge shift. You know, just a huge shift of consciousness. We're seeing still the shadow stuff and the stuff that those old paradigms that are literally dying out. And I told my mom, I go, we're really not in 2023. We're like 4.5 billion years old. So what is our real year? But, you know, there's something that's shifting internally in the spaciousness of what our personal lives we're calling forth, but also the consciousness collectively. And each one of us who are here are a part of that. And just a lot of love and kindness when we're having those really human moments, because we're in this experience, you know, and then staying true. Adrian, you've said it so perfectly, and Jody too, about staying true to the essence of this in resonance with me. Or am I just doing it because of ABC, you know, parents, past, tradition, and just really taking a stand to be authentically present. But there's a lot. I feel like 2020, I feel a good energy for 2023. The last 3 years were so intense. I feel like there's this something that's bringing us a little bit lighter.
I'll take it.
More good coffee, you know?
More coffee.
Exactly. So everybody who got up early or late, however it is, wherever you live, thank you so much for joining here. And if Trillian Tarot ever comes and listens to this, I talked to my landlord yesterday about an alpaca.
Did you really?
Yeah. I'm like, one of you rolled your eyes at the alpaca. And Nancy's like, it wasn't me.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
It was really funny. I'm like, okay, this is what I need is an alpaca. I've got a part-time cat from next door that I'm having trouble dealing with.
I've seen those photographs.
Now my sound's going crazy. Okay, I guess that's time to end our loop.
Retrograde.
You guys stay on. Thank you. Love all of you. I appreciate you being here and being in my life. And thank you, both of you, for coming on board to make laughter with me.
Always good to add that laughter into the universal field of consciousness.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to end this because my sound is corrupting now.